Hey everybody. I just want to talk real quick today, just about some of the gear I'm using in the studio, mostly the samplers here, and a few other things that I'm using to make beats, and kind of go over what my plans are for the future here as far as new gear I'm going to be looking into or upgrading, as well as kind of just the future of the channel. So I'm sure if you've seen any of my other content or you follow me on Instagram, you've seen the MPC is kind of the brain of my operation. I'm doing just about everything through the MPC 1000 here. All of my samples are coming out of this Audio Technica LP 120 and getting fed through the MPC, well, through this mixer first and then back into the MPC, which I'll talk about the mixer in a second. And so I'm doing all of my chopping on here, most of my sample manipulation, and pretty much all my sequencing and arranging on the MPC. But I've picked up a couple other samplers, in the last year or two, and I'll show you those here. And I'm pretty excited to kind of start working on them because the workflow is a lot different than on the MPC, but which I've just gotten so used to that I've just hadn't had the time or really just the know-how to stay super consistent on them as far as putting music out every day. But I'm gonna have some free time here soon to really dive into the machines, and I'm pretty excited to share that stuff with you. So I'm gonna take a look at my mixer here. I'm using the Behringer DDM 4000, and this is a pretty sweet mixer for the price point. I picked mine up used. Aftermarket I think was right around $200, which is a steal for what you're getting out of this. The bang for your buck is great. The onboard effects on it are totally killer. And mine is a little banged up. It has a few issues, like this fader broke off, which I need to replace. But since I'm not DJing on this mixer right now, I'm just using it to do all my recording and process some effects. It's serving its purpose and then some. And the mic channel is great too. Just kind of lets me do a lot of different stuff, a lot of fun stuff here. Highly recommended if you're looking to upgrade your mixer, looking for something with a few more onboard effects or a few more channels. Like the one I had before this was a tiny little Newmark mixer that was just bare minimum served the purpose. And so this has been awesome. Tremendous difference in the studio. And I'm sure you can kind of see this hanging out in the corner over here, but I recently picked up Boss SP505. And this is awesome too. There's a few other people that have some videos about this. DJ Reggie Reg makes a lot of cool boom bap stuff on this. You can get some pretty nasty drums because the thing about this sampler it's notorious for are the effects. Once again, it has a crazy vinyl sim on it, compressor. You can get some insanely raw bass drums going, kick drums through that compressor. Just a lot of fun effects. It's cool as a kind of to reprocess a lot of things. And that's kind of my goal with this as I really dive back into it, learn more about it, is mainly to process drum sounds or finish off drum sounds, really building drum packs with it. And hopefully here in the next couple weeks I'll have a drum pack out that's all processed through the 505, and it'll be a lot of kind of old 90s dusty boom bap kind of stuff, which I love, and hopefully you do too. Then the other kind of choice piece that I picked up, which I've spent zero time on here, is the 404A. I've always wanted to get an SP404. A lot of the cool lo-fi stuff, the effects on it, you already know. These things are notorious. Battery powered as an option, so you can take it anywhere with you, play it on the go, play it in the car. It's sweet. Like I said, the workflow on the SPs is a lot different than on the MPC, and I'm just not super familiar with it, but there's tons of good information out there on these things from people far more experienced than me. However, I'm going to be doing some videos on the SPs on both of them, but primarily the 404 here, kind of a learn with me, learn as I go sort of thing, so that if you're picking one of these up or you're considering it and not really sure what the barriers for entry are or the kind of what the learning curve looks like, I can give you a better idea of that. And you can kind of have fun with me, follow along as I'm making some fun beats, doing some cool lo-fi ambient stuff on the 404. And this actually, mine showed up not too long before the Mark II was announced. And I'm currently kind of on the fence about whether or not I want to just dive in on the A or possibly sell my 404A and pick up the Mark II. And if I were to do that, I would 100% make a review video of the Mark II and kind of an unboxing, because I'd be just as excited as you to see one of those things. They look pretty sweet. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of just the rundown of my sampling setup here and kind of the processors. There's a few other pieces of machinery in the studio I'll be making another video about here shortly, going over some synthesizers and some leads and how I'm doing some of my sound design. But everything I'm doing is pretty hardware oriented. I use very little software outside of the recording and some final mastering type stuff, but and I kind of like it that way. I like the very hands-on sort of feel of working with these samplers. So yeah, if this is the kind of stuff you're into, if you like watching people work with the samplers, people talk about them, some of this vintage gear, doing reviews, doing tutorials. Definitely subscribe to the channel, like this video, and yeah, cheers. Thanks for watching.